So we are live, but I haven't pressed the record button yet. So just give me 1 second. I'll tell you when.
You're professional. You have like a countdown on your stream and everything.
I try to, but most times I don't end up even using. Honestly, I feel like changing that page. I don't even end up using it.
It's impressive. That's some technology, man. I wouldn't know how to do that.
To be fair, it took you like 6 months to get rid of the black bars on the side.
Facts.
Yeah, for sure. It's been a struggle.
Yo, it'd be hard out here. Let's not play.
There's definitely a learning curve to it. Don't get me started on how hard it is to like actually edit a video.
Oh my! Yeah,
yeah.
Video editing software, not intuitive whatsoever. Oh man, it's like half the reason why I don't make as many videos as I want to. My goal, I'm gonna post 2 videos a week. I did that for exactly 1 week.
You realize though, like editing's like a full-time job, and you're like, oh damn, like.
Yeah. Nah, editing is difficult, especially when it's like you want to make a really good video. And you're like, bro, I want to make a really good video, but god damn, does it take long?
Yeah.
I like envy the people who can. I mean, it's not many people, but like who don't need a full-time job and they can just like do this.
For sure.
And, like find a way to make it work. Because I imagine after you spend a few thousand hours editing videos, like you probably get pretty good at it.
Yeah.
And it gets quicker and you do better. You make better content, then you get viewers. But it's just like I get home and I'm tired, man. I don't know.
Maybe next time. Is there anything you want me to specifically you want me to add to your intro? Like any
No.
Okay.
No, I mean I'm not. I play Runeterra. That's pretty much it, right?
He's like, I'm a little streamer. Don't look at me.
Yeah.
Nah. I just thought I would ask something I've been trying to add a little bit of nuance because I know some people come onto the stream. They have like come onto the podcast. They have like different things they're doing. So if you want me to add anything, then let me know.
Can we talk about how much like the IRL Smurf maybe next time is? This man is like top 5 Legends of Runeterra player, NA, and a D1 college athlete. Hello?
Yeah, nah.
What are you bad at, man?
Been a while. Nah, man, been a while, but not so athletic anymore.
Yeah, you still got it in you if you want to. I'm sure.
Maybe.
You can toss a hammer. Top 0.01% of population, right?
Of Runeterra players, definitely.
Best.
Exactly.
That's freaking dope.
If they ever have like in-person worlds one day, when they do like that B-roll footage, we need to have this competition, right? Of all like the Runeterra players just trying to do it.
Runeterra Olympics. I'm about it.
And then
awesome.
And then my man maybe next time just comes through like, all right, everybody done? All right, cool.
Yeah, have Alan like running over hurdles and shit. It'd be great.
Dude, I'm telling you, if I ever win the lottery, this is going to happen.
Pole vault.
Oh no, someone stabbed himself there. Oh jeez.
Oh man, yeah, I definitely see an accident happening for sure there.
Yeah, the pole vault, the javelin toss.
Toss. Yeah, no, don't do that. No, we can't do that.
We take whatever the most toxic champion is at the moment, like put that out in the field, and like you gotta hit it. It just spears Yumi. Everyone cheers.
Oh man. Oh yeah, we could also talk about after we finish with the talking about the competitive stuff and all that, we could talk about all the new stuff that came out today and Yumi and stuff. If you guys want to give your take on that as well.
Sure.
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna press the record
I will say
button.
if we go through every card, we're gonna be here forever.
True. No, 100%.
Because we've done that before. But like, we can talk about like the attach and formidable kind of mechanics. And if there's like one or two cards, but I don't think we need to read like everyone.
Yeah. No. We just a little reflection on it, because I feel like a lot of people have their own opinions about it. But we could just give a little reflection on it, and then probably just end the podcast there. All right, I'm gonna start it. Sure. I'm gonna give a countdown, and then I'm gonna go right on into it. Give me a second. All right, so I'm gonna start it in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hey, what's going on, guys? So this is Mystic Shop Podcast, episode 63. So, in today's episode, first off, want to definitely say appreciate Mr. Maybe Next Time coming through on the podcast today. What's going on, bro? How you doing?
Doing well. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah. Anytime, bro.
Anytime.
To be honest, first of all, it's amazing to be able to sit down with somebody that's definitely been grinding hard on ladder. It's like somebody like yourself. I mean, me personally, I wouldn't say I've been grinding hard on ladder. I think I ended like 561 on ladder. So when the seasonals thing closed, so I'm not a hard grinder, but somebody like you definitely been putting in the time this season. So it's nice to get an opinion about the because that's I mean of course the segue into what we're going to be talking about today, but to get a view for somebody that's basically in the midst of it. So I appreciate you coming on.
Definitely.
All right. So this is basically the time when I'm going to give anybody that comes onto the podcast, basically the time to plug in anything you want. So go ahead, bro.
It's a bit fun to plug. My name's Reed. Maybe next time. I mean, I play a lot, stream a little bit, do a little bit like of YouTube stuff. My Twitter's the same. Maybe next time _GG. But just love Runeterra. Love playing. Both these guys are great. I've talked to them. I talked to Doey for probably the past year. We the people from Lunatic Fringe. Been around him for a little bit. So 2 great guys, and happy to be here.
Yo, appreciate it.
Yeah, we're happy to have you on. Yeah. So I'm gonna interject, right? I must be the best talent scout in North America for Legends Runeterra. All right, I said it a year ago. I'm like, hey, I want like a group of people to practice with. I just happen to pick the 3 biggest crushers like on the planet right now. Icano, maybe next time Roji. And now I'm over here like, oh yeah, I finished like rank 150. That's pretty good, like objectively, right? And then it's just like, maybe next time's number 5, and Roji was somewhere in the top 30. And oh, by the way, Icano went to Worlds, was a top 8 player. I was just like, it's so bad. I'm terrible. But yeah, you've been crushing it. I don't think anyone's been putting up the results over the last it's been now 3 months or so that you have been absolutely slaying it. So well done.
Yeah, been a good 3 months, in the kind of community circuit. Not so much like seasonals or anything, but the community circuit's been good. Been doing pretty well there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, also, I don't have 100% stats, but I have looked at your twit longer, and I did see you posted some of the tournaments that you topped, and I was just like, damn, I didn't know you topped so many tournaments this season.
The last 3 months he's topped everything.
Yeah.
I feel like
I know, it's been a good 3 months.
I didn't even know that. I was like, damn, like he's been crushing it.
There was like one Master Runeterra qualifier, I think, where like the first round, like, oh, was it? You'll probably remember better than me, but like one round, you're like, oh, one weekend, you're like, oh, I did bad, I guess I'm out, whatever. But everything else, he's just like, oh, another top 8.
I was like, damn, that's amazing to hear, bro. Honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's been so I top eighted 3 of the regular Mastering Runeterra things with a top 4. I top eighted like the big 5K one. I top eighted an OLS, 2 fight night, second, and then bombed out of fourth in a fight night, and then I'm trying to think of what I know LS top 8 and like some other stuff, but yeah, I know those are like the ones from the past like month or two.
Wow, bro. That's yo. Yo, I can't say much, bro. I don't got the stats to keep up.
To kind of transition to kind of our first topic of the day, or I guess maybe our kind of first mini topic will be kind of the way that people qualify for the top 32 and the ladder kind of system as a whole. Are we kind of satisfied with the ladder as it stands right now, closed deck list best of 1, and are we satisfied with that being how we qualify for tiebreakers in the seasonal tournament? What do you think about that? Maybe next time.
Yeah, so I think so. I'll preface it this way. So I've had seasonals where I got 33rd at not this seasonals, but the last one. So like I missed top 32 by like 1 ladder placement. So I've had seasonals where I've been like this seasonal I was number 5. So like if I had gone X2, I would have been in. So I've had seasonals where I had to play on the last day to get in the top 700 to like be qualified. So I think I've kind of been in all of the situations. And so I think like at the start, there has to be a way to qualify, right? Yeah. So if you want to make it, like all gauntlet or give everybody a chance, I think that's okay. But there has to be a way to qualify. So I mean, I think ladder is as good as any. If you want to, distribute it the way they distribute it, I think that's fine. I think, you guys will talk about it later, but I think the other conversation is, do you want the ladder to count once you get into the tournament? Yeah. But I think, as far as like just the qualification goes, it's fine to have, hey, this many people from ladder are going to qualify. I think that's a fine baseline to have.
Yeah. No, I can definitely agree with that. I think it's the way you qualify for the actual seasonal tournament is probably perfectly fine. Top 700, perfectly fine. Honestly, I mean, I don't think too many people would object when it comes to like top 700 pretty much qualifying for the tournament, and then you get like another few spots from the what you call it? The gauntlet. Yeah, I'm sorry, literally just left my head. But from gauntlet as well. I don't think anybody would probably like talk, like basically say anything bad about that. I think more of the discussion kind of comes in when it's like maybe next time kind of alluded to, where it's like you're literally in the 33rd slot and like somebody that's X2 is literally a slot over you, and it's like, damn, I could have literally been in top 32 if I had just laddered one more game. Like that feels really bad.
Correct me if I'm wrong, because I haven't been in that position. So I've played in many seasonal tournaments now, but I've both never gone 7-2, and I haven't been able to qualify at 7-2 either. But it kind of feels like if you go 7-2, you're really good at Legends of Runeterra. Just kind of in general. If you go 7-2, that's like an achievement. And it kind of feels like it sucks that you're just as good as someone else, kind of objectively. You perform just as well, and you lose out on a tiebreaker. And I get there has to be a tiebreaker, but I can also get that it just feels bad for many.
For sure. And so to kind of, for some context too, the seasonals I got 33rd in, I would have made top 32 if it was a normal Swiss tiebreaker, because I started 7-0, and I thought my placement was good enough. So I mean, I didn't throw them away. I tried, but I made some questionable like plays in the last 2 rounds because I thought I was in. And so I was like, I was kind of having a little more fun, messing around a little more, because I thought, I had already done the hard part. So there's a couple things with the X2. And it's yeah, so you're as good as the other people, but the higher you are up in ladder, theoretically, the easier your tournament is. Because the higher you go in ladder, the worse your theoretical opponents are. So if the number one seeded master player is going to play the lowest seeded master player every round. So theoretically, if you go X2 as the number one player, on paper you should have had like an easier tournament than the number 30 masters player or whatever. Okay. So it certainly rewards that. And, the big reward, obviously, like we saw somebody from EU and like Glop, kind of more famously get, where you start with 2 losses or, you start 2-2. And then a lot of people who know they can't play, they drop, you get paired into them, and then you get free wins into the top 32. Yeah. So I think those are kind of, the big mismatched incentives and kind of the big reasons for people to get the X2. Not only do you get a free win, but you also have the possibility of getting those kind of corner cases that aren't super rare. A lot of people drop, especially the lower Masters players, once they hit 2 losses. Like a lot of the time when I knew I didn't have a bye, I dropped at 2 losses. So, right. I think that's, kind of the big reward of getting a high Masters place right now.
Yeah, I was just thinking, like, if Timmy T, I think that's the name of the player who got it this time, right? He hit who's high in the ladder, high enough to qualify at X2, and he high rolled all the buys. He high rolled from I think 0-2 all the way to like his last games, maybe 1-2, all the way until his like last game, played in, got it at 7-2. Wow! And I feel like if that didn't happen this time, like if it was just a normal kind of seasonal experience, if he had to play out the games and whatnot, I don't think anyone would be talking about the 7-2 tiebreakers right now. So I feel like it's kind of like this, maybe not an edge case, but a kind of uncommon case because it happened twice now with Glop and now Timmy T. But I feel like if that hadn't happened, people would be generally fine with it.
For sure. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say I pretty much agree with what Doey just said, because I feel like it's probably just the unlikely cases that you see like with Glop and Timmy T, like you literally just like high roll into all the people that just aren't playing. Like, all right, bro, I guess you know what? Here you go. Here's top 32, bro. Enjoy.
Yeah. So I think now, granted, it hasn't really affected me yet, but I think I'm okay. I think it's fine. Like I haven't seen a better suggestion really to kind of prevent that tiebreaker from happening. I think ladder is like the kind of most fun, or not fun, but like free and open way for Riot to decide to do it. Some people are saying like placements and community tournaments are a good idea, and like that's fine-ish. But yeah, I think I like the ladder, and I said this as someone who's probably not going to sniff top 40 ladder like anytime soon.
Yeah, I think the ladder's certainly like attainable, right? So like I've gotten progressively better. Even when I wasn't, I think I'm like I'm not like great, but like I think I'm better now than I was 6 months ago. And I would hit like top 20, top 10, and then I'd like fall out. Where now I'm like, okay, cool, I can stay in the top 10, or I can stay in the top 5 or whatever. And I think it's a thing where if you're like me, right, and you're like, hey, I missed top 32 on like tiebreakers, I really want to give myself the best shot of getting it. Like, how do I do that? Oh, like I need to make sure I'm in the top 20 players on ladder. It's attainable. It's not something that's like super, super far out. Like, if it's something you like really care about, it's definitely something you can do. But if you don't care about it, like, or you're like, like it's whatever, then, it's definitely not like for everybody, right? But I think it's an option that's there if people like want to take advantage of it.
Yeah, I think if you're a top like 80 player, you can get there if you're willing to outwork other people. If you're in the top 80, you can get to top 30 if you're going to outwork people.
For sure.
I think that's just like number 29 through number 85 are probably roughly equivalent in skill. It's gonna be a matter of like adapting quick enough to whatever the micro meta is and the little hours that you're playing, and then of course just jamming out some games. Right?
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, at a certain point, it's, if there's even between like a 0 LP Masters player and like, the best player in the world, like the percentages are like super small, right? Like maybe like say, I don't know who it is, say like, one of is the best player in the world and he makes like the right decision 97% of the time, whereas like a 0 LP Masters player makes the right decision 91% of the time or whatever. Mm-hmm. It's like not that they're that far apart. It's just that extra 6% is like much harder to get than the like 70 percent decision making of a silver player to like the 90% of a Masters player. So true. Yeah, definitely not that far apart, right?
Absolutely.
Yep, I can 100% agree with that. But I think just to segue to the next part of the conversation, I think this is my personal opinion. I think the conversation starts to be had a little bit more when we start to talk about like how ladder is a best of one format with closed deck lists, and seasonals is a best of 3 format with open deck lists, right? Because that's this is my personal opinion where the conversation really, really, really starts to get going. Because a lot of people have very different opinions on how things should be ran. And I'm not going to say no one knows because, I mean, at the end of the day, everybody, we got to listen to Riot, all right? Whatever Riot says, we doing.
Everyone knows what their opinion is, and everyone has a strong opinion on it.
Yeah, I can agree with
maybe
that.
Next time, I've kind of spoken about this on the past on the show, but maybe next time you want to lead us off here. What do you think about best of 3 ladder and or open deck lists?
Hey, I don't particularly have an opinion, and so I think I think at least from like a very insular circle of people I talk to in Runeterra who are like super hyper competitive, I think like, and even in other card games, I think like for me at least, it's about, hey, like I want to compete and I want to compete at like the highest level you're going to give me. I don't care what that is. Like, just tell me what I need to do and I'll go do it. So we're like, when people complain about like metas or situations, I don't really care so much about that. Like, even if the meta is like not some where I'm like, oh man, I really don't want to play a 0 Relia or whatever. If that's the best deck and that gives me the highest % chance to win, I'm going to do it. And it's the same thing with like best of 1 or best of 3 ladder. I think for like the health of the game, it's a little weird when, you have a new player or whatever, somebody who wants to be competitive, and they play this like best of 1 environment, and then you go, oh wow, I really want to qualify for this seasonal tournament or whatever. And then you see that that's a totally different format than like what the game gives you to play regularly. So I think that's the biggest kind of like hitch in it. As far as me personally, I don't care, but maybe to somebody who doesn't have like as much access to community tournaments, their only like way into the game is, hey, I log onto the game and I play the modes it offers me. That's where it's like, maybe we should be giving like people different ladder options. But for me personally, and I think for most of the people, who like play a ton, who are high up on ladder, who are playing a lot of community tournaments, I think it's just give us what you give us and like we'll make it work and find a way to win somehow.
Okay.
All right.
I mean, I could understand that take. I'm not gonna lie, I can understand that take because I mean, I don't want to talk about other card games, but I'll talk about some of the experience that I personally have. So when it comes to like Yu-Gi-Oh, right? People will literally play that game no matter what. Like honestly, there will be metas when people will literally be pulling their goddamn hair out. Like, there will be metas when the best card is, like, your rent. And people still play. So, I could definitely hear maybe next time's take. Because I've seen it. I've seen it literally be like, bro, you're playing this meta? And they're like, bro, I'm trying to win.
Yeah. people who have that kind of like don't understand, almost like playing for fun. Like I tried it for 3 games after the seasonal. I was like, I can't do it. And then like because like competing is fun, like for me and for many competitors. It's just like if I'm not playing to win, then like why am I even playing? Like I'd rather like garden or something, like do work around the house, and I'm not going to play to win. Like that's what I'm playing for. So I guess I can kind of see that. It's just like point me in a direction and let me go that way, and I will be happy to do so. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. But I think also because I mean maybe maybe next time I really like that answer. I'm not gonna lie, I really like your answer, bro. Like I can't lie, he hit all the points. He was like, bro, like. Don't get, like, for me, this is how it feels, but I know it affects other people. And I think that's a point that maybe some people miss, and that's where the contentious point kind of starts. Because it's like, for the health of the game, I think eventually we do need to get to a point where ranked and, like, seasonals and, like, competitive tournaments are kind of, like, on the same wavelength. Because if we keep telling people to play in a ranked format where there's one thing happening and there's like a completely different meta almost, because like Lee Sin, like people don't even know about that deck half of the time. They're like, wait, people play this deck?
Yeah. I think I could probably count on one hand the amount of times I played against Zoe Lee on ladder this season. It's probably like 4, and that was it. Yeah. But like coming to seasonals, I think I played against it 2 or 3 times.
Nah, I probably played it
just
5
at
times.
the seasonal.
Yep.
And it was like this close to making my lineup. I kicked it out like that morning. But like, I think I agree. Now I would personally be in favor of best of 3 ladder. I want the ladder to mirror what the seasonals currently is. Because I think like as you increase the number of games, the better player is more likely to win. And I think you want to encourage the better player to win in competitive formats.
True.
So that's just kind of where I'm at in general. But like, yeah, I can't really disagree with your point. Like if Riot says, all right, our competitive format's best of 1, I'm like, all right, keep ladder to be best of 1. Yeah. I might complain on the side. I'll be like, keep ladder best of 1. But I'm also going to complain about that over here too.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you guys know? I know both of you guys have said you play Magic a little bit, but do you guys know Jeff Hoogland?
Yeah,
I've heard his name. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So he's like a big Magic content creator who plays like a little bit of Runeterra, and he qualified for seasonals. And he sent out a tweet that got like a lot of traction. That was something along the lines, basically, of hey, I'm prepping for LOR seasonals, and it's pretty off-putting that their best of 1 ladder format has nothing to do with the seasonals. And so I think the problem is if you're super into Runeterra, you see the community tournaments and you see like what's going on and the data from that and what's winning. But if you're just like somebody who hops on and plays, most of the community tournaments and stuff like that are hidden between like Twitter or Discord or somewhere in the middle, and you kind of have to like dig them out and find them. So if you're just somebody who like hops in and plays, it's like, oh well, I didn't know that there's this whole other meta game with these decks I've never seen before, because I didn't see the spreadsheet with the 60 players who played in that one tournament for $25 or whatever last week, right? So I think that's the kind of disconnect between the ladder and seasonals, is that for people who are just like, oh cool, I found this fun game, they don't know that there's this whole other world that's like very, very how can we optimize things the best for a best of 3 setting.
Yeah.
And so those people are they have more or less no hope in seasonals, right? Because they're playing one game and everyone else is playing another.
Yeah.
So I think that's a disconnect.
Yeah. And I think I think though what Doe was saying earlier, I think that's where the contentious point kind of starts. That's where the waters start rumbling.
So I'm gonna get flamed for my take. It's gonna come back to me somehow. Someone's gonna watch this and flame me for it, I'm sure.
All right, time to clip it.
I don't think Legends of Runeterra is a fun game. All right, I put that in air quotes for if there's audio only people. All right, and by that I mean I think I've said this before. Sometimes the best, most critical part is like the player hitting the blue button to pass and like open pass. They win the game because they open pass. If you're not like a top level player, that's not fun to watch. You're not like, oh, you hit the pass button.
I mean, yeah, I agree with you on that because a lot of the times, especially when we watch tournaments, right? You'll be in the mine. Because I mean, you've been there before, and you're just like, wait, should I play Ravine here? Nah, he's gonna develop more. Pass, and then he develops, and you play Ravine. You're like, oh.
Yeah, and then that pass, it's so exciting to like literally probably, I don't know, 500 people on the planet. Doesn't translate to like the average player.
True.
Whereas in other card games where there might be like more random effects and commentators, everyone's playing, both players are playing or watching, like this round end effect, it's going to do 10 damage or something. If it hits their face, they're going to win. And then it hits their face, everyone cheers, right? Because they won. You get that exciting moment. Mm-hmm. I think that moment is like really great for like the for fun casual player, but that doesn't exist in Runeterra. Like our RNG comes down to like loping telescope kind of things. And that's like the worst of it. And it's really, I mean, it's not that bad. It feels bad when you get judgmented out of nowhere. But like, that's it. And so I feel like if you're not going to have like a super casual game, if you want the best player to win so often, like in Runeterra, I feel like it does compared to other card games, like push the competitive side. Because that's where I think Runeterra shines. Of course, have the Path of Champions stuff. That's great for people who want to have a fun time. That's fun. But like, I think Runeterra shines in the competitive kind of field. So push people there. I think they'll like it.
For sure.
Yeah. No, I agree with that too.
Yeah, I agree. It's, I think, it's, I don't know if I was telling, I know I've talked to both of you guys this week at some point about, competitive things, but I think part of the problem too is there's so, for at least from, a company side perspective on it, is that there's so few, like actual competitive card game people, like people who are like, me or whatever, who are like, I want to be the best, like, tell me what to do, like, if I have to spend a few extra hours grinding or whatever, like, tell me, like, I just want to win. Like, if I'm not winning, I'm not having fun. Like, there's so few people like that. And, I think from, like, a monetization standpoint or, whatever the company's looking at, they look at, okay, well, we have more players in silver, or we have more players in gold who are, playing their, random Yetis deck or whatever. So, I think where I play Runeterra because, I think given, the other options, it is the best competitive game right now. And, I play it despite it, not having a great competitive scene, or like any right now. So, I mean, I think it's just, either you have to push that or you have to say, okay, our money is from the casual people or whoever buying cosmetics, that's where we need to keep it. But it has to go one way or another. And, the no direction for the competitive scene is kind of the, hey, what are we doing right now? We're just kind of like hanging out.
Yeah. I mean, at the moment.
So,
go ahead, do it.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to reference your tweet longer. I think maybe next time what you said was true, but it just kind of like dawned on me that like this is the last seasonal tournament that we know about, right? Like the last actually confirmed seasonal tournament, even, let alone Worlds.
Yeah, I mean, presumably there's another one because we have like the, like Last Chance Gauntlet announcement or whatever in the client. So like, presumably there's like another seasonals or whatever. But, I think, and, I was talking to, a competitive player who hit me up on Discord. I won't like say their name because I don't know if they want to, go about it. But, they basically said, like, I don't know, like why people are, stressing about it. Like Riot will announce, what they announce, whatever. Whatever. But, I think the thing is that, like, since we've been left in limbo so long, there hasn't been an announcement about Worlds. They basically said, hey, we might be changing, what's going to go on with seasonals. We might be changing prizing. We might not, who knows, but we'll tell you guys eventually. And I don't remember the exact point it was, but it might have been when they were spoiling like the last set, the last part of the Vandalwood. But I know there was a lot of like excitement and tension. Oh, this is going to be when they release the competitive announcement, and then it never came. So I think it's more like, hey, like, we have a bunch of people who are, just waiting for something to happen, and that's where, a lot of the frustration with the competitive community comes in.
Yeah, no, I agree with that fully. I think also, and this is why, honestly, this is why I originally, I mean, a lot of people don't know, but this is why I originally started this podcast, to be honest, is to allow people to come on, like, say, for instance, a platform like Twitch or YouTube or whatever, and just talk about Legends of Runeterra, and then hope to God that maybe one happy for. And I definitely appreciate that we're able to have, even though it's not like an open line of communication, but it's some kind of communication with the people that make and develop the game that we know and love, right? Because without that, like, things would be very, very tough. Because like you just said, like right now we're in limbo. Like, we don't know if there's going to be another seasonals. We have no clue. I mean, of course we're guessing, right? We're saying, all right, Daddy Wright isn't gonna leave us hanging, right? They're not gonna just say, all right, guys, I'm sorry, that's it. There's no more seasonals. We're hoping.
So I'm stressed about this kind of for two reasons. One, the last game I took so seriously, actually, like, competitive scene was killed, like head chopped off, dead by Blizzard, right? And that was Heroes of the Storm.
Oh,
right. So I'm like actually a little sensitive to it. I'm better at Runeterra than I was Heroes of the Storm, right? But I was probably like a top 500 or 600 player in Heroes of the Storm, and I was like starting to get into games with pro players and like perform well, maybe outperform them here or there. Like, that was really cool to me. There was this like dream that I could chase. As I went to bed at night, that who knows, maybe one day, like, I'll get a DM from a player and like, hey, we need someone to fill in for a scrim. Can you come in? Then I come in and like wreck it, and then who knows, right? Yeah. And then Blizzard one day, like right after Christmas, like dead, no more competitive scene. And
that's wild.
That hurt, right? That hurt.
Yeah,
I
sure,
stopped playing the game that day. Like, I've played maybe 10 games of Heroes of the Storm since, compared to like maybe the 3,000 I played before. So I've like have the scar that I don't want to have reopened, because like if Runeterra comes out and just like we don't have a competitive scene anymore, I don't know if I would play anymore.
Yeah.
Like, and all of us here, right? We're by definition in the top like 0.01% of like people who interact with Runeterra. Yeah. We're on a podcast talking about it. This guy's over here, I don't know, some direction, topping every tournament that he plays in. We the Peoples and I, Masters players, we have a podcast, we host a tournament. We obviously care about this game like an insane amount, and to have this like uncertainty about the future is like super unsettling for me. For sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, that's just, I think there should have been, something in this gap. Hey, this is, we're not ready to announce Worlds, but here's the next 3 seasonal tournaments or whatever. Something like that. And I mean, I get if they want to announce it, all at once. I get, if there's stuff not going, but it's just kind of the lapse that I think let, a lot of people, in the middle, and kind of what I was saying, and this isn't like a criticism of like you guys or people who run tournaments, because like I played you guys this tournament, like I know you guys like pull money out of your own pockets, like that's crazy, like you guys do all that just to like run a tournament. But the thing is, with Runeterra, it's not like, for instance, I used to play a lot of Magic, and if you go on like MTG Melee or one of the sites that runs Magic tournaments, you'll see every weekend there's 1,000 or 2,000 or there's $500 to first or whatever. There's a decent prize pool. Hearthstone kind of the same way. Their Masters tours guaranteed people's money, stuff like that. And with Runeterra, where you have tournaments where there's, like OLS where fourth place Icado played and it got $10. When you're playing, 9-10 hours, you have people who are literally like, top 10, 20 players in the world, and that's what they're being paid. It's just kind of like, how do we grow this? How do we get, people into these tournaments when, this is where we're at? And it's not the organizer's fault at all. Like, you guys are literally pulling money out of your pocket. Like, you're doing way more than anybody asked, like, people to do. Facts. But it's just like, how do we get this bigger if that's where we're at right now? And Riot isn't supplementing that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it does definitely suck. I mean, because and I say this all the time, I appreciate that a lot of Doey. Because without this guy, I don't know if I would have ever even thought about starting a tournament, like, for real. So, like, it does definitely, I won't say it hurts, but it definitely does, maybe, it puts something in the back of my head to like, maybe think about sometimes when I see, like, basically how me and Doey are, like, trying to push up the competitive scene and, like, trying to figure out, like, what exactly we're going to be doing and such. And then it's like, I feel like maybe Riot could at least, like, maybe tell us, like, all right, this is what we're going to be doing. Like, yeah, like, we don't have any clue. Like, we're just wandering in the dark.
Yeah, and I was just gonna say, or even like, and I wouldn't expect them to do this, right? It's not like we're the master Runeterra brand or anything, but like, if they were like, even close. Here's what we kind of want, like, our I'll call us like amateur tournament organizers, like, do, like, shoot for this, like, try and get your tournaments to look like or be like this, and like get some guidance, and maybe like if we do that, we have like Riot coins to give away. I don't know, just some little prop up would be nice. I mean, granted, people aren't gonna be, coming out in droves to play for Riot coins either, but it's just like having a little bit of guidance would be nice. Just a little bit, just a nugget I would like, even at this point.
Yeah.
And I think my criticism of the Riot thing, as you talk with, I kind of realize is that it does start at the top. And what I mean by that is, like, so say, I doubt like this is Riot would do something like this, but say they said, hey, what we're going to do is, we really want Runeterra to be an esport. We're going to have a monthly tournament, where we find a way to showcase our most consistent players, top 100 on ladder, qualify, we're going to have some sort of series where, we're going to, have the best players in the world playing, every month or every 2 weeks, we're going to have an expanded prize pool. If Riot said, hey, we're going to have a monthly tournament with a 15K prize pool, the same players, are going to probably be qualifying for it, then, sponsors and, people like that are like, oh, wow, that's a way, something we can get in on, something we can, monetize. And then that's how the community scene grows too. Facts. But, when the top level is, hey, we're going to have a tournament like every 6 to 8 weeks, and like we might have a world, but who knows what it looks like. And, this is kind of what our tournament scene is right now. Well, you can't like get much from that. And so then you're left in a spot where the community tournaments are, oh, well, we're paying, $30 or $25 or whatever, because the parent company is only, giving, the sponsors, so much to say, hey, we can work with that. We can't work with that.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep. It's kind of hard. I mean, I personally, I didn't go to school for like marketing or anything, but I know personally it is hard to sell Runeterra to like any kind of sponsor when there's absolutely no roadmap. There's no like, all right, there's gonna be another tournament in a few months. It's really hard, and I mean that's probably the only criticism, honestly, that I have personally for Riot is probably the communication. And like I said, that's probably why I really started this podcast. So hopefully it's something that we can work on throughout the test of time, and hopefully Runeterra can be an esport just like maybe next time, like I said. And honestly, I'm a very like what's the word? Hopeful, I guess is the word. I'm a very like hopeful person. So no matter what, I'm still gonna play Runeterra, but
Sure, yeah.
I'm hopeful that Riot will always make the best choices. Honestly, I mean, if they don't, they don't, right? But I'm very hopeful that they will. So yeah. I'm looking forward to any news that they give us.
For sure. Yep. And don't get me wrong, like I love Runeterra. I think Runeterra is the best card game. Like I wouldn't be playing it otherwise. Like it's the most out of like all the like digital card games. I think it's like the most polished. It has the best like monetization system. Like it's super free to play, super new player friendly. And then like not only that, but at the top level, it's also like the best game for like people who are like professional. I mean, you know, like you have like people like What Am I, you know, people like Black Boss and Majin who have top cutted 6 seasonals. Like if you're a sponsor and Riot, you know, or somebody had a tournament where it's like we can put these people, you know, like give them a shirt and put them on camera every week. It's like, well, the same people are winning all the time. Like that's great for sponsors. I mean, everything is there for the game. Like the game is great. You know, it's great for new players, great for old players. I mean, I think like if they wanted to go that direction, like it's certainly there, and it could be a real, you know, like esport as much as like a card game can be one.
Facts.
Yeah, like this game's really good. Like I don't know, we could all gush, I'm sure, about Legend of Runeterra and how much fun we have playing it for forever. Man, I just hope that it's just not given up on. Right, that's my biggest fear.
Yeah, same, honestly. But all right. Do we want to give some thoughts about the new cards? How do you guys feel about Yumi? How you guys feel about Yumi?
You want to start maybe next time?
Sure, yeah. I mean, I think so. First of all, I think people like tend to overreact to new cards, right?
Yes,
which is like where some of the fun is. I mean, it's fun to like overreact and imagine like magical Christmas land or like whatever the best possible thing you can do with it is. So I think it's a good card. Like it'll see play, and I think the best thing about it is that it encourages like different region combos and like different ways of deck building. So I think something that's like genius with this set, and not just with Yumi, but like the cards we saw today, everything is they give like a bunch of different like region combos, a bunch of different ways to build sets, and that hasn't necessarily been like true. A lot of the decks sometimes are like, you know, like pre-built or like close to pre-built, or, you know, have like pre-built pairings, whereas these new cards like can go a ton of different directions. So like Yumi specifically, I think it'll be good. I think it'll be playable. I think there's probably going to be like a good Yumi deck. I don't think it's like the end of Runeterra or like super broken. But I think, you know, similar to like, you know, decks like Mono Fiora or like decks that used to like grow sparkle flies really big and stuff like that, I think we'll probably see Yumi like utilized in similar ways like that.
Yeah. So
100% agree.
I've been like back and forth on it. When I first saw Yumi, I was like, this is the most broken thing ever. And then I saw the tweet. I was just like, oh, when you silence it, it still gets the effect from the unit. I was like, this is the most broken thing ever. What are they doing? But then I was like, remembering you're spending unit mana to do this. So that kind of changes the whole kind of landscape of how effective these buffs are going to be. And just like, it's probably going to be fine. But saying, it's probably going to be fine doesn't get you like Twitter impressions, right? So an elusive essentially that infinitely grows as the game progresses, that you can't target with spells either, and the silence is less effective against it because of the attach kind of mechanic. So that is cool. But one thing I loved about today's reveals is the interaction between the formidable keyword and like Ash decks. It's gonna be so cool, and I can't wait.
Yeah, it does. All I'll say is this. All right, Noxus people. All the Noxus, get your culling strikes ready.
Yeah. So like, calling strike from Ash Nox is something, and then it feels bad for a little bit for Ash decks because they can't like frostbite the unit, like it doesn't do anything because they're striking with their health instead until you level Ash, and then you're like, aha, because now leveled Ash, these units can't block at all.
Nope.
By so there's like a give and take with them that I think is like